90s, there was a big transition in animation world. You were over at Disney, and Disney decided to basically go to 3D animation. Is that correct?
That was later.
That was later. Oh, okay.
Later, yeah. I was at Disney up until Lion King, and then I got blamed for something I would never have done, and so I got chased out of there, but I'm so glad because I would never work on this movie. And what I do best, I think, is likenesses, and so the ability to do caricatures of movie stars animated in a movie, I mean, it hasn't happened again yet, and I keep hoping there'll be more of that. Hopefully there'll be more of that, but this is where I got to shine best, which is why I love this film. I understand, as I watched it, I thought, I see why people love Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and the Little Mermaid, and they have all that power behind them. They're wonderful films forever. I love them. We were kind of a little on the side of, animation at Disney was the main focus, of course, like they were always the most powerful. But this took the Annie Award for Best Picture that year.
Right.
Over Hercules.
Right.
We were shocked. I remember Mark Dindal was at the awards ceremony. He was saying, "We almost went home. We're losing everything." But at the end of the night, ta-da! This is the movie that won Best Picture.
Right.
And the awards is like the Oscars for animation.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting with the film, because you do have a Disney style, but yet it has the Warner Brothers influence also. So it's a very unique animation.
I noticed that. Did you think it was weird? Is this a weird movie? I love it.
I didn't think it was weird. I like the style. I thought it was very different.
Unusual.
You could see both influences on
Yes.
the picture. So.
And we did this for Turner. We weren't even absorbed by Warner Brothers yet. But even if there was certainly Warner Brothers influence, we hadn't been. The reason the movie didn't do well is because suddenly Turner Films, with Ted Turner sold all his stuff to Warner Brothers, and Turner Feature Animation was consumed by Warner Brothers. A lot of people laid off and gone and this and that, and there was nobody left to take credit if this movie did well. So they just released it, and nobody, a lot of people didn't even know about it. Thanks to his book, a few more people know about it.
Yeah. And I also think, you touched upon the caricatures. Okay.
Mike, is this better?
Hopefully.
Thank you.
You got that?
Coming.
Hey, can you hear me?
He has to go upstairs to do it, I think.
Okay.
Just a second.
Oh, they're not turned on even. I'm gonna draw Derek while we sit here. Why wouldn't I? This is what I like to do. We'll just see how this works out.
We have mics. Okay, sorry about that.
There we go with the mics.
Okay, so what I was getting at is, obviously you had done all of the, screen legends in this movie, all of them.
Not all the legends, but I did all the ones.
Mike.
Okay. Mike.
Oh my, yeah, yes.
He can't draw with a mic. That would be a real talent, right? So obviously it takes a lot to get the rights to use those caricatures into a film. So do you know anything behind that scene?
I do, and I've got some real good dirt for you. In Aladdin that I worked on.
A little closer.
Hey,
There you go.
in Aladdin that I worked on, remember the genie impersonates all these celebrities. And because he was impersonating them, and maybe because Disney was behind it, they didn't have to pay for any of those. Because he was doing an impersonation, okay? They got away with it. In this one, it was different. They wanted a packet full of a lot more movie stars. They had me design John Wayne, the Marx Brothers, many more. Even Gene Kelly, who worked on this film with us. But they found out that they had to pay for each one. They're like, whoa! They wanted celebrities all through it more and more than we have in the final. But they did have to get permission, except for Joan Crawford. She left everything to charity, so they didn't have to pay for that.
Oh, wow.
They got permission, I think, from her charities, but they didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah. And I think, what interests me with this movie so much was the history of Hollywood, the stars that are in it, the streets, you know, Grauman's Chinese Theater, and all this tie-in. And then Darla, she was quite. Was there any Shirley Temple in there? Because she kind of looked like Shirley Temple.
She started out being named, excuse me.
Have some water right there.
She started out being named Curly Dimple. And they're like, wait a minute, that's too close. So it was Shirley Temple. I mean, I really don't know that Shirley Temple was that way, but I think she's such a good villain. When she's flipping out and becoming the devil, I'm right along with her, like, wow, this is really, when she pops up, big and loud. Oh, that's really strong. I think she makes a good villain.
Right, absolutely. Now, how long did the whole film take? I mean, you said there was that whole Turner thing going on, so.
We made it right after we made Macaulay Culkin and Pagemaster.
Okay.
This was the one coming up. And I remember it being a year. I mean, that's how we did it back then. With all the Disney movies, all the features, 1 year, from one to the next. So I think it was just a year.
Oh, wow, that's quick.
Packing it in there. And the guy who did the color on this was the same guy who did the color on Beauty and the Beast, so he was there with me.
Wow. And touch upon a little bit about your Disney career, because you actually worked on Ursula.
I did. I don't think I can ever top Ursula. I didn't even want to work on Ursula so much. I wanted to work on Scuttle, because I love It's a Mad, 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 Mad World Coming Tonight. I love that. That's my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie. And I since Buddy Hackett was in that movie, I wanted to work on his character in The Little Mermaid. And I had worked on An American Tail before that, and the girl in charge of the line drawings on American Tail had been hired by Disney to be in charge of the line drawings there. And she said, oh, no, I want you to work on this character, on my character. You're gonna work with me, because I guess she trusted me, which is nice. So that's how I got roped in to working on Ursula, when really was the best thing. I'm so glad I just shut up. Just go along with it, don't make waves. Yeah, I'll do Ursula.
Yeah, because I mean, Ursula is like the #1 Disney villain, I think, in any animated films. People.
Am I lucky?
Yeah.
And I got to work on Cruella too.
Yes, which she was in the voice in here.
Yes! You want to hear about Betty?
Yes, let's hear about Betty.
Betty was my friend, Betty Lou Gerson. She was the voice of Cruella de Vil, and she was quite forgotten by then. I don't remember how I met Betty. We would talk about it later. I don't remember how we met. I'm sure I tracked her down. And everybody knew Cruella de Vil, but Betty Lou Gerson, nobody. If you watch Cinderella, the Disney Cinderella, the narrator in the beginning, that's Betty, who talks about the man whose wife died and he married the stepmother. She also is in Mary Poppins when the kids are running away. Kids are running away from the bank, and this old hagman lady comes and says, Granny will hide you. That's Betty. Walt called her and said, come on down. Come on. She'd just done 101 Dalmatians, and it was a big hit. And they were making Mary Poppins next, and he said, come down and do a line for me. Do a line for me, for luck. So she said, when I was at Betty's house, she opened up a letter that she got. It was a check for Mary Poppins, because she had one line in that. She kept getting checks. I didn't buy it. It was probably like 35 cents or something. But she said, "Oh, that again." She was my friend, and I thought, I bet if I took her into the studio, I bet I could just introduce her and get her job. I did this twice with 2 people. First was Betty. I introduced her to the director, Mark Dindal. Immediately, a fish character who had a suit coat on was changed to a female fish with the sequins, which is much better. And that's how she got the job. Later on, do you know who Pamela Furton is?
Yes.
You do know?
Yes.
Yes.
Charlie Brown.
Yes. I saw her outside of the Beverly Center for PETA. And I said, hey, I know you. And I said, come to Warner Brothers. I was working at Warner Brothers, and I said, come on in, I'll introduce you to the boss there. And she got a role like that.
Wow, that's great.
So, I mean, you have to admit that they kind of did it themselves, but I'm so glad that I could bring them together.
Yeah, I mean, this cast, the voice cast is phenomenal. I mean, Don Knotts is in there, yeah.
You know, I remember that was part of the problem they said about promoting it because it didn't have John Travolta, who was big at the time. They thought that Don Knotts was passé. I'm like, are you kidding me? Just little problems, but I'm so glad people love it. When I did some drawings at Deloso Family Farm, and I do that every October. And this year I was drawing a guy, and I just talk, and I happened to mention that I worked on cast stone dance. I said, "You did cast stone dance?" I never did that. Never to get that. This was like his favorite thing. Another guy said, he was a big Goofy fan. He said, "Oh, my favorite movie is The Prince and the Pauper with Mickey Mouse." And he's a big Goofy fan. Are you kidding me? I never hear that. And so I drew Goofy for him. But anyway, the cast, I don't see that as a problem.
No.
I don't know why.
Yeah, and voice actors are really talented. You know, I mean,
Your film.
yeah.
You got some of the best talent in your film.
Well, thank you.
You want to tell us about that a little?
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, you don't want to.
I'm kind of shy.
Okay, never mind. I didn't mean to distract you. You did a really good film with
I
these
don't like
big
people
names.
interviewing me. I just like
You
doing
did
it.
these big names in the film. People I love.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So let's open it up for questions. Anybody have any questions for David?
Current project.
What?
Current project.
Current projects.
Ah! Not this September, but September before this, I was asked to please pitch a show to Cartoon Network. They said, please pitch a show to. I'm like, I have to be in Tracy, California, 2 days from now. I don't know. Oh, please just pitch your project. I'm like, I have a project. So I pitched an idea that I have, and that is a strong idea, and it's still going. And I believe in it. I believe I'll have my own series. I've got the strongest comedy team. For some reason, Cartoon Network has been canceled. But the people I pitched to are still with Warner Brothers. And the head of operations at Cartoon Network is working with me. And she's really in with the guy who's pulling a lot of strings at Warner Brothers. So maybe we'll get that. I worked on some Disney stuff this year, a few backgrounds for a TV series, and I don't know if it flew or not, I don't know. They didn't even tell me that. They said, do these, so I did that. Current projects, I really hope to get my series. Most current project is my parents are 95 years old, two of them, and they need me there, and I have to be with them. They're darling people. They're always looking out for me. So that's the most current project. I was talking to my friend today about how I just really want to be there with them. So that's what I'm up to.
Well, that's a very important project. So give you a round of applause for that one.
I want to. I'm good with them. They can have other people come in and try to sit with them, but they don't know who it is from day to day. They still remember me, so I'm glad.
Oh, that's great.
So I have a question back here.
Yeah.
On Mrs. Dimples, wasn't she on Looney Tunes, and was that prior to 1997? Or tell me about that character.
There is a similar character that I know. I think that's who you're talking about.
Yes.
What is her name? It's not the same character, but I know exactly what you mean, and they are very similar. I think she came first. Am I right?
I don't remember. That's why I'm asking you.
I
think
don't
it was
remember.
before, but I'm not sure. But it was almost the exact same character.
Yes. Look at everything.
Right.
I think that came later with Warner Brothers. Am I right, Warner? Yeah. The kind of the Batman type series.
I really don't remember. It's been a long time for me.
I wasn't even familiar with her until somebody pointed out how she looks.
Yeah.
They're very much the same. Yeah. I don't know what the connection might be there. I think this was first.
Okay.
Yeah, as I remember.
This question over here?
Yeah, how much has your technology around doing drawing and animation changed in the last 25 years for you?
Completely. I love Photoshop. I'm really good in Photoshop. It really throws people my age, I would say, because a lot of people my age who were in animation are gone. They're not in it anymore. I'm still there. A lot of what they look for now is who's good at the programs. When I got into animation, and I missed this, it was good enough to show people that I can draw. I can do this and that, and oh, okay, so you can draw, you can paint, you can sculpt. I sculpted The Simpsons. I was the first person to sculpt The Simpsons. It was good enough that I could do the work back then. It seems to have changed so much that computers are running things. I understand. Of course I do. I don't have any trouble with computer animation. I think Tangled is sensational, gorgeous. How could I have any trouble with it? I'd like to find a balance between artwork and computer technology, but we'll see. I don't even want to bash things that I don't like, because that's not right. I mean, if I don't like something, I'm missing out. And there are a lot of current shows that I think are so ugly, but they're popular. So if you enjoy those, good for you. I'm the one missing out. Yes, technology has been a big change, big change.
Now, there's a lot of younger children in this room. Did you always inspire to be an artist and an animator growing up?
Yes! I would have seen Betty in Mary Poppins when I went to see Mary Poppins when I was 4 years old. And my mother would always say, "You're going to work for Disney when you grow up, aren't you?" And I'd say, "Yeah." And it stuck. For a while I wanted to be a veterinarian. But they said, "Come and hold this little German Shepherd puppy while we put it to sleep," and that was all. No more of that. No more of that. No. So then it was back to animation, sticking to animation. It just worked out for me when I came out. This is magic, and I have to share it with you. Just follow your dreams if you can, because when I came out to Hollywood, the first job I got was a bomb movie called Star Chaser, and my boss hiring me said, "I don't know why anybody'd want to go into animation. It's a dying art, but you're hired." And it was dying. I mean, Ralph Bakshi had pretty much caused everything to tank. Only because putting out a movie, an animated movie that didn't do well, was not doing anything for animation. And Disney was working so hard on their Black Cauldron that took for years and years. And it was dying. And I worked on Star Chaser until it was done and loved it. And then Roger Rabbit came out. Boom! Suddenly it's hip again. When I was working on that Star Chaser movie, we had a gathering of a class that I was taking in animation where we all went to see Fantasia. They were showing it at the theater. And when I walked in to see Fantasia with this little group of people, there was a girl standing in line to go to another movie, and she said, loud enough so that everybody could hear it, "These people are going to see a Disneyland cartoon," teasing us for going to that movie, because it was dead. We were the goons. We were the real nerdy people who wanted to be in animation. Nobody was into that. But thankfully, because I followed my dream and it wasn't hip and it wasn't happening, I just happened to be there with the resurgence. And then Disney, because of the success of Roger Rabbit, Disney, who was about to cancel all animation, they were done with it. It wasn't making money. They Splash made money. Their live action things. They were doing the Golden Girls and all of that. And when Oliver and Company came out and didn't really do that good, they were considering getting rid of animation. And also, they were about to sell off Disneyland. About to sell off. What is this? And because Roger Rabbit was a big hit, they said, "Oh, okay, do your mermaid thing." Just magic. When I was there working on Little Mermaid, we all knew this is really something. For whatever reason, it all came together. All of those people that wanted to work in animation since we were little, and just the right recipe. and it saved animation at Disney. I would say it helped save Disneyland, and even Mattel was in trouble at that point. So I think it saved all of those. Just the magic of having it finally work again. Who can say why? But it did work.
Wow, that's incredible. Another question? Yes, in the center?
Yeah, I heard like early in development, like Michael Jackson was being involved in Castle and Dance. Is that true?
Yes, I'm sure it was. And Pagemaster, especially. Do you know Pagemaster?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. That's the best answer. Pagemaster is Macaulay Culkin, and he turns into a cartoon and he fights a dragon. I did the dragon for you, but anyway, when we were working on that, there was this girl named Claire, and she was the right hand of David Kirshner, who produced this, and David Kirshner produced Pagemaster, and David Kirshner produced Hocus Pocus. David Kirshner produced Child's Play, and he's responsible for Chucky. So that's who David Kirshner was. And I was walking in the studio by the elevators, and I said, "Hello, Claire," and she was like, all the time, like, what's that about? Because she's always really friendly. "Hello, Claire." and then the elevator opened up, and out popped Michael Jackson right there. So yeah, he was there. He was there when we were working on Castle and Dance.
You met Michael Jackson?
I saw Michael Jackson. I saw him pop out of an elevator, and Claire ushered him in to see David Kirshner. So he was involved. He never came through with being involved in those two movies, but he was on the sidelines. I think early plans were to involve him. Absolutely.
Now, speaking of legends, Gene Kelly
Oh my
did
God.
all of the dance scenes choreographed in this film.
No.
Most of them, no?
From what I understand, he was there at the studio. He came in and sat with the story people. Okay? This is how I understand. Do you know something I don't about the dance
No,
routines?
you know more than I do.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure, because
In terms
I
of
don't
this movie.
always read the things. I was there, but that doesn't mean I know everything. I was drawing. He came in and talked to the story department and taught them about how singing in the rain and stuff like that kind of formula movie that he was so good at. So that's his involvement, was with the story department. I have pictures of him with the story department telling
Okay.
him this is this and that is that. So that's what he was involved with. That was his last project, wasn't it?
Yes, it was his last project.
And
I knew
Betty,
that.
it was Betty's last movie.
Right. Wow. Other questions out there? Yes, right here.
How do you think of the characters?
How do you think of the characters?
Whoa.
Good question.
You know what? I'll just merge that. I'll segue that into. They would give me assignments to do the movie stars, so it was them telling me what to do with the movie stars, with W.C. Fields and Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. So they gave me those assignments, and I made it look like them. It started out as a story about cats in the back lot. The very core of this movie is the Nicholas brothers. Do you know them?
No.
See? Crickets. The Nicholas brothers. Look up the Nicholas brothers. The two black guys, and they were incredible dancers. They do stuff like going down the stairs. One of them would jump over his brother and land doing the splits. And his brother would jump over him and land doing the splits all the way down the stairs. And we don't know the Nicholas brothers. And we're like, are you kidding me? They could do this? So that's the influence of the animals not being appreciated, is that the Nicholas brothers, they did a movie with Gene Kelly.
Okay.
But it's surprising, when you look up the Nicholas brothers, you might think, why does nobody know the Nicholas brothers? Because they were black. Back then. Because they were animals in this movie, they were not going to be taken seriously.
Wow.
Did I answer? Oh, you know what? I should answer that further. When I worked on 101 Dalmatians TV series, they would give me an assignment. I was to design costumes for Cruella. So they would write that for me and say, hey, look, we need Cruella dressed in a wooden outfit, or dressed like a banana, which was one, and then it would be up to me to come up with a design that was banana and Cruella.
Yes, in the back, way back.
Yeah, what was your favorite project that you worked on that allowed for your own kind of creativity to influence the character?
This one has my heart. I mean, I loved Ursula, but what I did with Ursula was the drawings that you see on the screen. I didn't design Ursula. I'm really good at likenesses. Right here, I'm doing this just to calm me down, just to have fun. I'm drawing Derek as we speak because that's what I love to do. And to be able to do movie stars, the likenesses that are animated, oh my gosh, I hope I can stir that up again. Because that's an art that's out there waiting to be tapped, if you ask me.
And then another question right there, yes?
What's the first film you've ever been in, and when was it?
First film.
First film was called Star Chaser, and it was another bomb. But it was 3D animation, which was, get this, this was before, we had computers working on it, but the computer held a pen, like Etch-a-Sketch. It was go, it would draw on paper, and then one of my jobs was to fill in the lines that it skipped, because you know how computers are, kind of glitchy. And we did, being a 3D animated film, we did one drawing for each eye. I love that, and it's as successful as it is, and it bombed. But I would love to do that again, to do a 3D. Wouldn't it be fun if I got to do something for Disneyland or something? All these lenticulars.
Right.
I would love to do that. Anything can happen in life.
When was it?
When was it?
Yeah.
When was it? Let me think. It's called Star Chaser. I don't know the year, but early 80s. It was before I worked on He-Man and She-Ra. After I worked on Star Chaser, when I was working on Star Chaser, I would pass Filmation, I'd say, oh, I hope I never have to work there. Those cartoons are so ugly. How embarrassing. But that was one of my best jobs ever. You never can tell from the outside. My boss kept that from me at Star Chaser. He'd say, oh, you don't want to work for them. Because he was paying me less to work on his bomb movie.
Okay, any other questions? We'll wrap it up here. So thank you so much, Dave. Do you have a question?
Yeah, what do you think of a future live-action Little Mermaid? What are your thoughts on how to have that? Or what?
I've heard good things about it. I don't know how they're going to make it. If you asked me what I thought in the beginning, I thought, oh, come on, that will never work. How can they do that? I love Melissa McCarthy. I just love her. I think she'll be a good Ursula. When it comes to the live action versions, when I watched Beauty and the Beast with my mother, the one that I worked on, the hand-drawn, she said, how'd she get him up on the horse? We don't know. We didn't think that through, Mom. But then the live action comes out, which I love, of Beauty and the Beast live action. I love that one. And it shows her, she says, oh, you have to help me. You have to stand. Ta-da! That's how, Mom. I don't always like them. When I saw the live action Aladdin, I just sat in the theater and cried. But that had a lot to do with Robin Williams. Again.
Right. Anything else? Yes, one more question.
I guess I want to ask, like, what are some of your favorite anime movies that you, I guess, inspired you to become like an animator?
When I was little, I went to see 101 Dalmatians. I always loved Disney. I'm like, oh my gosh, 101 Dalmatians, and there was Cruella, and she was so broad and so bizarre. Why did she have orange hands? I didn't know. I was just a kid. There was gloves. And then I ended up designing her costumes for the TV series. That's magic. That could never happen, but it did. My favorite is Cinderella. She gets dunked on all the time, but she stays sweet and kind, and she ends up with the prince. How about that? Snow White, of course. Let me see. Do you guys remember the incredible Mr. Limpet?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
With Don Knotts.
Yay! You remember Don Knotts in this movie. So, yeah, if you watch in The Little Mermaid, when all the fish are pointing to Ariel and then she's vanished, she's gone off, swimming off with Scuttle. What is the line? Anyway, all these fish are pointing to her and she's gone. One of those fish is Mr. Limpet. I put that in there myself. Those are my drawings. So yeah, I was influenced by Mr. Limpet. In fact, hey, thank you so much for asking me about projects I'm working on. I got Carol Cook to voice an animated film I did in college. So she's been wanting to voice it for a year now, and she's been in and out of the hospital. She's 98. She's going to be 99, I think, in January. So anyway, just waiting there. Last time, I was going to let it go. I was going to say, oh, you don't have to voice this. I'm like, do you really want to? It's been a year. But then the last time she was in the hospital, she said, please tell Dave I want to voice his animated film. She's going to narrate it for me. So yeah, those are my influence. Mr. Limpet, the Disney movies. I love them. I love animation with all my heart. I love the hand-drawn. I'm not going to get over that. I don't hate computer animation, but there's something magical about drawings that come to life. Can I show you something here?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey. The W.C. Fields coloring book. Do you mind? I'll just yell. I got to put the W.C. Fields that you just saw in there, I got to put him in the W.C. Fields coloring book. So there he is, moving from one page to the next. Hand-drawn. I love being an artist. So hopefully there's a lot more of that in store.
Thank you very much.
It's not finished at all, but hopefully you can tell it's him. Here. Can you see that?
No,
Not really.
You can see that.
We can all see it out in the hall. Thank you, David. Mr. Dave Woodman.